Despite the coronavirus lockdown, ProAV managed to ship our order of an HC-X2000 and an X1500 earlier than anticipated, and these arrived at our door yesterday. The CX10, X2000 and X1500 are all essentially the same camera, with identical performance. This video demonstrates our initial tests with the X1500. We chose these cameras for their versatility as we shoot a wide range of video productions. Occasionally there's time to set up everything optimally, but more often than not it's a case of trying to capture live events on the hoof. So we were particularly keen to see how well these cameras perform when set to automatic. These shots were all handheld using image stabilization, autofocus and auto everything else. Judge for yourself. This is an example of a shot that required manual exposure. In most situations, however, auto exposure is satisfactory. The amazing zoom range really is a treat. This extreme iZoom telephoto shot, with the camera balanced on a fence post, needed the additional stabilization of stable mode, which also worked extremely well for this, where the camera is handheld on the car dashboard. Faffing around with face tracking or specifying focus areas has never appealed to me, so good as it's claimed to be, I wanted to see how well the basic autofocus coped. I'm not disappointed. Here it maintains focus on Jan's face perfectly as she leans towards camera, with no discernible lag. And while you might prefer to execute a manual focus pull for artistic reasons, if you're shooting a variety of close-ups, you can pretty much rely on every shot being pin sharp. Low light performance is important to many of us. Without a stage show to shoot, it's all a bit subjective, but here's what you get with literally one candle. Even shoestring productions usually stretch to considerably more lighting than this, so you're covered. Here is the same high contrast scene, shot on manual with each scene file setting for comparison. Now back on auto, but with dynamic range stretch set to 3, which noticeably lightens the darker areas without losing the highlights. The zebras and built-in waveform monitor seem perfectly calibrated, according to post-production monitoring. So our first impressions are predominantly positive. The cameras are solidly constructed, and as others have said, their compact size does mean that the buttons are a bit fiddly to reach. On the X1500 without the top handle, it's easy to knock these user buttons while holding the camera. With so many adjustable features, the 12 user buttons are barely enough, because unless I'm missing something, many functions can only be turned on and off by assigning them to a user button. Each of us will have to prioritize the features we use most. Overall though, these cameras are outstanding. They power up in only 3 seconds. The internal fan is so quiet you'll forget all about it. Panasonic engineers have really thought about the way we work and implemented some really neat features. For example, when playing back clips, adjust the audio using the zoom rocker. If you're reviewing footage when something happens, pressing record immediately does just that. The batteries last a really long time. The zoom range is amazing, and there's a fast setting that is. The slowest zoom on both our cameras is faster than we'd like, but perhaps this can be sorted in a future firmware update.